last issue I want to talk about is the issue about code hierarchies that people always ask about. How do we actually get can structure and sort our codes in Atlas because of the flat code list and the code manager? Well, if you have seen my codes already, you get an idea actually in how to add a structure also to a flat code list in Atlas. But as we here talking about network views, well, you could of course imagine relating your codes as is all the subcodes to whatever your category code or main code or whatever you want to call this, and utilize the network view function for structuring and sorting your code list. Well, and then that shows up in the code forest or code tree in ATLAS.ti, and then you can also use that for drag drop coding if you wanted to. I usually advise against doing that, because then you use the network view function for simply structuring and sorting your code list, and you can do it otherwise. Because what do you want to do next? You used up the network view function, used relation like is part of, is property of, but the interesting bits basically happen across categories, and that's what I would leave the network function for, linking across the different aspects. Now we have something here on the election process, is another example dataset, and the political program. So when in the election process, what were different aspects of a program introduced, which language style, this is like media reports, is used to actually show this, and how is Schwarzenegger represented. So if you know some, I use this in my Atlas book, the Schwarzenegger example when he was elected governor in California. So that is actually the example data from the book Qualitative Data Analysis with ATLAS.ti. And just talking about it, I'm currently working on the second edition, which will feature version 7 of ATLAS.ti to be released in January of 2013, so next January. So you can still use the current version. What doesn't apply is the project and data management. But all the stuff on networks, that's still the same in version 7, more or less, apart from the analytical functionality. This basic idea is that, that you use a network view function for conceptual type relations. So what happens across your different categories, and not just using the network view function to display your descriptive, the description of the data. What is the higher and lower order code, and then I actually do show this in Atlas now. I prepared a special little project here, because one of the things that's happening if you just utilize the network view function, that you will have your codes here. Atlas orders the codes in alphabetic order, and then, well, this is kind of all effects of parenting, subcodes. We could bring them in to a network view. So my main code here is that one, and we can all link it in one go, and say is A. So that's what you have seen in the PowerPoint presentation. So now we have just linked it in a structural type of way. Now we don't want to save this network here. Let's take the definition of happiness one, but I take out the family codes here. They nothing to do here for this example. Yeah, so these are all different definitions of happiness, and I do have the higher order code here as well. So do the same thing, link the subcodes to the higher order codes. So now these are linked, but I still, apart from me, I didn't take out all of it. Here you see actually by the colors which actually the codes that actually belong to a category that I had before. The list is sorted alphabetically, so we have the codes all over the place. So linking it to each other in a network view doesn't really help us in any way to get our code list here structured and sorted. And if we actually move back to the here you see that we have sorted all codes by their main code by adding a prefix here. So having definition of happiness, effects of parenting, or reasons for having children and reasons for not having children. So sometimes you can work with abbreviations here, having HC for having children and HC for not having children, so do not make the code too long. But here we have all the sources of happiness. So this is now a structured and sorted code list, and we can also find our way around by clicking on S, and we are all at our source of happiness codes. And let's and here you have this as example as a stage 2 project, and here we also have I have grouped all of the categories also into families here for easy access. So the families are not, basically you can represent categories via your families and then use them for filtering purposes. And you see some of these are other families for different purposes, so a family is not necessarily a category. Let me open this wider now. And they give you kind of nice and easy access to the codes of a particular group. That would also be the case if you would use a network view function to do so. You can still work with families, but you don't have the sorted and nice structured list here. That's why my recommendation is to use the code manager to add structure to your code list, work with prefixes, symbols, numbers, letters, so the alphabetic order kind of represents your structure, and don't work with the network view function. And let me get back to this other project where it's still kind of all over the place. You do have the it's under miscellaneous here. I'm off the screen now. I can do it also from here, miscellaneous code forest. So the code forest does show you all codes, and if you have linked them via transitive relations, then you get this hierarchy, maybe what you're looking for, effects of parenting, as we did. But here let's see, we also hopefully used we only used transitive relations. Let's see what we did here. And if we don't use transitive relations, then we get, of course, repetition here, because if we have a non-directed link, then we have a cross-references. So the code forest is not a strict hierarchical display. It is a display of all relations that you have created, directed and non-directed relations. And the asymmetric ones here actually behave in the repetitive way like symmetric relations. You would only get like a pure hierarchical view if you only use transitive relations. And then we would be at the descriptive level again, because the meaning, the conceptual meaning, is across relations, is across the green and the orange and the blue and the pink, whatever category here. And it's not just the up-down type relation. So it's an option you can also drag drop coding here from the code forest, and I know there are teams who are doing it. But I've given you some reasons why I'm not recommending it to do it like that. because you do lose the order in the code manager, and you use the conceptual level of working simply. It's as simple as that. So my recommendation is work with prefixes here, use the network view function for conceptual level and analytical work as add-on after the descriptive level work of coding. And if you're interested in that and want to read more about that, this is all described in the book in greater detail.